You're listening to iCannabisRadio.com.
Hi. What happened to my kid?
Sorry.
We missed my kid. So I'm sorry to be laughing. I'm Georgia. Today is St. Patrick's Day, March 17th. And right before we went on the air, my guest co-host tonight fixed his hair.
Did I? I felt a big sweaty side, like I just rode my bike here, and I had to put my headphones on, and I didn't want my hair to be sticking out funny. So I think that was just a force of habit there.
Right. So you did one of these. You did one of these.
Did I?
Yeah. So now I'm gonna fluff. I'm gonna fluff. Oopsie. Fluff and up and fluff, and so now I can look as good as you.
Thanks.
Well,
Not as sweaty as me.
you don't know that.
That's true.
Yeah, it's true, but
I can
you
just
don't know that
assume
for
women
sure.
perspire. Guys sweat. So
You know what? So this is probably one of those things that I shouldn't say, but I sweat.
you run though, so you sweat it out. That's different. That's working out.
I definitely. So I went to work yesterday after going for a run, like in my running clothes, whole 9 yards, and I went to reach for something.
Oh no!
And I was like, wow, my sweat
Italian
is
sub.
not pretty. Are we broadcasting? Looks like we may not be broadcasting. Yep. Okay. But anyway, that was just funny. So I would like to welcome Bike Holly to the show tonight. You have never co-hosted with me.
No, I haven't. Thanks for having me.
I've been on shows that you've hosted.
This is true.
But I have never returned the favor. So thank you so much for coming.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
So tell us why you decided that you were going to be a cannabis man.
Why a cannabis man?
It's like a Marlboro man.
That's not a bad title to have, I guess.
Cannabis man.
I love weed. I'm not gonna lie. I love weed. I don't like not smoking weed. Does that make me sound like a drug addict?
It makes you sound like the cannabis man.
All right, cool. Because it's just weed. It's not something that's
Methamphetamines.
It's not that.
No, not even
just
close.
weed. It's just concentrate. The crack of weed.
So what brought you? Because you're not from Colorado.
I'm not from here. No.
Yeah. If you guys listen really closely, you can hear
It comes out in certain
that
words.
southern twang.
Southern twang. I'm from Alaska.
Right.
Yes. Oh, so it'll be 7 years ago now. I had a friend from Massachusetts, where I'm from, came out to Denver a year ahead of me with a painting company and
Cool.
painting houses. And every time I talked to him, he just told me how much I love Colorado, how perfect it was for me. I got a job for you lined up. You can stay at my place. So after hearing that for a year, I said, all right, let's see what's going on in Colorado. Because I've been around. I've been to 40 states and always ended up back in Massachusetts. So this time.
Is that where your family is?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. This time I've been here. It'll be 6 years without leaving. Came here and just after being here for a year, went back to visit and got a taste for the Colorado life. And this is even before there was a dispensary open.
Yeah.
It wasn't a weed scene here that there is now. So I wasn't here for the green rush. I saw it happen from the beginning, which was interesting. I remember the time where all of a sudden you turn around and a green cross or some bright green neon paint on a building was a new word, dispensary.
Right.
And you started seeing these pop up all over the place. And it's just still happening. And just like when I first moved here and I broke my neck 6 times a day looking at the mountains, going, wow, awesome, oh my God. I was doing that with dispensaries for a while because that was a trip, seeing all these stores where you could go and buy weed. Whereas I was so used to calling my buddy who would call his friend, and then we'd meet at a Dunkin' Donuts and he'd throw a bag through the window and I'd pass the money to another guy. Just the sketchiness was gone. And that was nice. And it made something that was awesome even better, if you could imagine that.
Well, right? I think what's interesting when someone that loves cannabis watches this whole industry grow, I mean, that's been fascinating. We've been experiencing that. In the last couple of months, we've experienced, I think, this whole new thing. So people who haven't been as married to, involved in, entwined in the medical scene, have found themselves, experimenting recreationally, and every person that comes in the store is happy and excited and giddy and overwhelmed.
Are you guys rec now?
We are.
Okay.
MMD of Colorado Herba turned rec on Monday the 10th.
Wow, congratulations.
My 13th wedding anniversary. Thank you.
That's a huge process.
It's a huge process, and there's some kind of denouement. Like you don't feel this. The day we opened, I didn't have this like unbelievable exuberance. But
you weren't relieved at all that
that all the hoops had been jumped through a little while ago. So so that was
it's just
waiting
in line at
right.
this point.
I felt relief then, but certainly not like the first couple of weeks where there were lines out the door and it was like nothing you'd ever seen before and those kinds of things. But what has really surprised me, I guess is the right word, is the reactions of people.
As far as what?
These are folks that don't know about weed. These aren't
weed
stores, They're
noobs, as we say.
They're noobs. They're noobs. Now there are some people that come from states where non-medical states, and they say that they smoke a lot, and so they know marijuana or what have you, and they don't necessarily. It's not that they don't smoke. I fully believe that they smoke, but they're not getting a choice of strains.
Right. It was back in the day, the guy would show up and you bought what he had.
Right. Whatever it looked like and you were happy. And certainly things like edibles. Whoa. I had a guy come in the other day saying, I don't really want to smoke. What are my options? And so we walked through the options for him, and he was really interested in edibles. But what he said was, but I don't want anything sweet. So we kind of explained how edibles are made and how they work best, and why sweets are typically
good sugar delivery system.
That's right, and the ease of butters and those kinds of things. And so I said, but we do have some options that aren't quite as, because to me that's a big deal. I don't want to have someone eat a 500 calorie brownie so they can get 100 milligrams of THC. That to me seems awful to somebody,
yes.
But. He still ended up getting a 500 calorie brownie because, despite the fact that he didn't want something sweet, that's what people know and what people recognize.
The other thing, just a 100 milligram dose and a 500 calorie brownie, you're not really going to, I don't think you're going to taste too much. 100 milligrams is to go over a brownie that size the flavor should be diluted a lot, I think.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Well, that's the other thing that's changed over the 6 years that you've lived here is the whole idea of edible companies at the beginning making it didn't matter what it tasted like. People weren't after it for the taste. They were after it only for the effect. Yeah. Now there's this demand for high-end, good tasting, unique products, and companies are delivering. There's everything on the market. Now, not all of those things are available for rec customers yet.
Not yet.
But they will be. But yeah, the idea that you can get, infused ketchups and mustards and marinara sauces on one end of the spectrum, and then, your popcorn and your truffles and your suckers on the other end of the spectrum. It is so fascinating to me how creative.
I hadn't seen the condiments. That's awesome.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
I haven't even smelled them, but yeah, they come in small little jars, and it's about as brilliant as anything else.
Sure,
it's really creative.
Might as well enjoy your medicated hot dog with some medicated ketchup. So
sure, why not? I think the other thing that's hard about this for me is, with medical patients and edibles, they know what they can eat. They know what they can tolerate.
Sure.
These noobs, no idea. And so there's a little bit of, when the whole 100 milligram maximum came across the table, I was like, I don't know that I think that that's so fair. But now that I've experienced who's purchased in the whole week that we've been open, who's purchasing,
mm-hmm.
I'm really happy that we're not laying someone out for 72 hours.
Yeah, with the 700 milligram bag of medicated sugar.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, how about you can get 500 milligrams in an Edipure product that is 25 gummy bears or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I can eat 25 gummy bears I can eat pound of gummy bears without thinking about it. Medicate them, oh my gosh, I'd be in some trouble. And then add some of the things that are delicious, you know. Oh my gosh! So it's been fascinating. So the world has the Colorado world has turned upside down since you've been here. I think it has to do with you.
Well, I hope so. If I'm not doing my job, if that's the case. But
that's right. That's right.
It's been a trip. I'm loving it.
It's been so exciting. But we're going to take a quick break, right, Chris?
Yeah, we still have some time, but you can't.
Oh no, I don't want to take a break yet. Then. Well, yeah. Oh, I forgot we started a little bit late today. So today is one of my favorite Mondays of the month. Actually, I really like all the Mondays of the month, but today this one will be my favorite for a couple of reasons. One is because it's St. Patrick's Day, and my people. This is the day of my people.
Our people.
Our people, of course. I want to be clear that we don't dance like that.
No, we don't.
We don't curl up our hair and dance. We don't do that.
The river dances.
Yeah. I mean, you've seen me do it one time. I don't know where that came from. I don't know where that came from.
It came from Ireland, but it didn't make it over here.
No, it looked a lot different.
What is the guy's name? Michael Flatley?
Yes. Yeah.
Feet of fire.
Hate that motherfucker. I am not pleased. So
I can block it out well.
Right? So I lived in Ireland I lived in Dublin for a while.
So you can confirm that they celebrate St. Patrick's Day in Dublin crazy like they do here in America.
Right. I can confirm that St. Patrick's Day in Dublin, although I wasn't there for St. Patrick's Day in Dublin, that every day in Dublin has the potential to be what St. Patrick's Day is here.
I have a friend in Dublin who sent me a link this morning of a webcam set up in a public square in Dublin, aiming at this famous bar, and it was packed with plastic green hats as far as you could see, inside and out.
Yeah,
but my friend says they're all English tourists.
Right. I was going to say, when I lived in Ireland, I think that it was community pubs were still a thing. You went to the pub in your neighborhood. Mm-hmm. You didn't really pub crawl unless there were several pubs in your neighborhood. Or for us, where we went to school, there was a pub called the Slipper across the street from University City Dublin, called the Slipper, and we'd always go there for lunch. That's what we did. They didn't have food; they just had drinks, which was great. And then we'd go back to class afterwards. But that's what everyone did. Mm-hmm. And pubs in Dublin are little couches. I mean, you have a bar and people sit at the bar, but for the most part, it's little love seats with comfortable couches and tables, and people sit there, and it's what you do in your community. Pubs closed at 11, and there was always the.
But that's because they open at 6.
At 7, yeah. There is that. Well, it's also because it's cold and the bus is closed.
Also, I think that forces people to relax and not like here. People drink to get shit faced, whereas there they have a couple drinks and then go do some stuff. And then maybe go have a couple drinks later on. Maybe at the end of the day they end up shitty, but here it's just boom, boom, boom. That's just how it is. And
the culture is completely different. And one of the reasons why I bring it up is because I feel like the drinking culture in Ireland is much more like the smoking culture in Colorado. And I'm going to connect this. I promise. I've thought this through. I think that drinking, college drinking, for example, is not a social thing. It's you're in a race to get shitty and get laid. I mean, that's what it is. Yeah. Sorry, Dad, who doesn't like to hear me talk like that, but that's really kind of what it is.
Unfortunately, that's true. Yeah.
Unfortunately, and people drink more than they expect to. I mean, things like that just happen, and I'm not.
That's how you prove how cool you are.
Right. Yeah. It's how you prove. Yeah, I threw up last night. Oh my God, I can't remember where my keys are. And I'm not judging that. I mean, I'm just making an observation. But the smoking culture in Colorado is absolutely social. It's a social endeavor. You're not attempting to get
as high as you can.
No. Yeah. I've never heard anyone say anything like that.
Chug it.
Right. I mean, I think the closest you can come is like,
How big a dab can you take?
how big a dab can you take? You have the big vape bags that are 6 foot long or whatever, and you know what? With the exception of the big dab, you're sharing all of that. It's very social, and again, pubs in Ireland. The idea isn't about getting shit-faced.
Sure,
it's about
having a couple
with your friends and
Chatting.
talking. Yeah, it's what you do every evening. So I lived with a family when I lived there, and that's what our host father did. Is after work, he was a traveling salesman. Traveling salesman. We have no idea what he sold or where he traveled to. Never talked about work. And he'd be gone for several days at a time, and then he'd come back. And super nice guy. Although in the 6 months that I lived in their house, I did not understand a single word he spoke. Period.
Wow.
Thickest accent. But anyway, that's what he would do. He would come home from being traveling or whatever, and go eat dinner with the family, and then go spend a couple hours at the bar. And it wasn't like he was escaping his family. Everyone did that. I mean, that's just what it was. So that's my observation, is that I want us to have comfortable areas where people can smoke and be social, because that's what this culture is to me.
I agree.
Maybe now we should take a break, because that was so unbelievably profound.
No, it wasn't. That was really cool. I learned something new there. I didn't know you went to school in Ireland.
There we go. That's what you learned new. All right, Bike and I will be right back.
The Law Office of Edson Maton and Matz provides criminal defense, family law, medical marijuana defense, and advice about setting up and running a medical marijuana center, optional premises cultivation operation, and infused product manufacturing businesses throughout the state of Colorado. We're focused on providing high-quality service and customer satisfaction. We will do everything we can to meet your expectations. WarrenEdson.com. Edson Maton and Matz in Denver, 303-831-8188, and in Aspen, 970-948-7183. WarrenEdson.com.
Are you a medical marijuana patient or interested in finding out how to become one? Contact Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern. Conveniently located on Hamden and Tamarack in the Whole Foods parking lot behind Proof of the Pudding. Mile High Wellness offers a wide variety of edibles, hashes, and some of Colorado's top strains. Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern. 3525 South Tamarack, Suite 110, on the corner of Hamden and Tamarack. 720-382-8516. Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern.
Whether you are a commercial grower or cultivate as a hobby, No Dough Urban Garden Supply is Denver's first stop for your hydroponic grow needs. With a wide range of products including House and Garden, Botanicare, and Fox Farm, their knowledgeable staff can get you started on your first garden or help you with your well-established business. No Dough Urban Garden Supply is located in downtown Denver at 1330 27th Street, 4 blocks north of Coors Field near MMD of Colorado. They are open 6 days a week from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. Call 303-296-3424 or visit them on the web at www.nodoughurbangardensupply.com.
You're listening to Rev Jeremy and Georgia on iCannabisRadio.com.
Aw, those are some cute kids. Thanks for putting that in there. So before I went on my my little tangent about our people,
Our people.
I said our people.
I know, that was cute. Our people.
Our people. As an aside, I'm not going to make fun of Michael Flatley or the.
Again.
Did I make fun of him before?
I hate that motherfucker. I guess that's not making fun of him directly. No.
I mean, he started an unbelievable obsession that people have. I mean, how many? I wonder how many Irish dance schools are in Denver alone.
I was just going to say that. Melanie was actually talking about signing up for
signing
a 6-year-old.
Signing the girls up. Well, you know what? It's adorable. It's adorable. Yeah. It's adorable.
They have them sometimes outside. Probably today outside the bread store next to her camera shop. At least last year they had little Irish step dancers kicking all day.
It's adorable.
It made you want to buy some bread.
I'd buy some bread from little girls doing those little dances.
Well, they were outside this really tasty bread shop.
Oh,
So
well,
it's just a bonus. If they had Girl Scout cookies, they'd be killing it.
Right.
Irish
right.
step dances slinging Girl Scout cookies.
I love sweets, love junk food, like love it. If I never eat another Girl Scout cookie in my life, I'm A-okay.
Really?
Isn't that weird? I mean, I love
Chocolate.
love it. Love
I'm the
love
same
it.
way, but I just never really heard anyone else say that. People freak out about it like they freak out about bacon, which I don't really care about either.
I don't care for bacon.
It's like
I don't care for meat a
it's
whole
cool
lot.
to say that you like bacon. It's so trendy. I think
It's
I just
so
saw
trendy.
Jack in the Box restaurants now has a taco that comes with a taco shell that's bacon woven, bacon weave taco
So that makes
shell.
me want to throw up.
Same.
It makes me want to throw up. I don't get it. I don't get it. Well, Taco Bell and bacon, two of the things that I care about least.
I agree. This is Jack in the Box, which
Oh,
is
Jack in the Box.
just
You said
as
Jack in
bad.
the Box. Sorry, you said
They
Jack in the
probably
Box.
serve that meat with a wood filler in it as well, like Taco Bell does.
So I have some junk food obsessions though. Speaking of St. Patrick's Day. So, and Chris, please don't be mad at me because you get mad at me every time I say anything about the worst fast food place in the nation. But McDonald's has a thing called the Shamrock Shake.
There's two of them in my refrigerator right now. Oh, they were earlier at least.
Good thing I don't know where your refrigerator
You
is.
could have them. I think she got them for the kids, and I threw up a little in my mouth when I saw
Oh,
them.
it's fabulous. We tried to get one yesterday. The place we went to was out of them.
Go figure.
Out of them. I mean, as far as I know, it's food coloring.
And liquid plastic.
And a little bit of-
It doesn't digest. It just goes right through you. It's filler.
Well, it's interesting that it doesn't melt. Have you ever? We had.
yes.
Yeah, that's
There's plastic in that.
that's a little. And I feed it to my kid. Right, like we go on. There's a website. You know what? I've embarrassed myself a lot today. I talked about my smelly armpits, but there is a website that is the I Spy Shamrock Shakes. So when you first see the McDonald's in your neighborhood that has a
has one?
Shamrock Shake, you post it.
Oh, my.
So
What have we come to here?
it's a beautiful thing. If they had an app, I would have
It's
downloaded
funny that
it.
you know about it is funny. The fact that it exists is even funnier.
Right? And that I use it.
I think this is based on that gas station price
Do you remember
website.
that? Yeah.
I think that's still a thing.
Is it still up?
I know. Well, there's a bunch of them as far as it's an app.
There's
I
an
never
app.
saw that.
I didn't see the app.
But I'm not surprised.
They'll show you where you're at. And
Closest cheap gas, yeah.
That's really smart.
Do they tell you how watered down it is, too?
Did they
That'd
really
be-
dilute gas?
Oh, sure.
Really?
Not everybody, but it's a scam game out there.
Mm.
Just once in a while, they'll do too much at a gas station, and 30 cars will be calling in complaints of broken down on the side of the road.
Oh, that's awful.
That's happened before.
Gosh, what jerks. You're just
Yes.
trying to fill your tank up.
I know. With
Gas
some
is
water.
expensive right now. Right. Gas is expensive.
Gas is expensive.
right?
That's why they sell you water. Yeah, it's up a little bit. Yeah, it went down for the holidays, like it always did, like it always does, and it'll go down again soon. Don't worry.
Well, and then as summer approaches and people get
Driving season,
driving
as they call
season, driving season.
like we don't drive every day,
Right.
We drive more during certain times of the year,
Yes, because we like to go on road trips, and
and just at certain times of the year.
right.
Though, yeah.
I guess summer is road trip season.
Oh, okay.
I don't really like road trips that much either.
No, I'm getting. I used to love road trips.
Warren drives. So road trips for me are really easy. I get to co-pilot. I don't have to do
Boring.
directions. Yeah. No, that makes it fine. I don't like to
You
drive.
don't even smoke weed.
Right.
How boring is that?
But I eat junk food.
You get sugar high,
No, I'm more of a salty.
salt coma.
Yeah. Yeah. So I start to swell. Like all my fingers get
And
really
you get really
big.
thirsty, so you can get all these other drinks in you.
Like a Shamrock Shake.
Yeah.
Yeah. So believe it or not, some marijuana things happened today in Colorado.
Fill me in, because I know I saw a couple things, but I don't know if I looked into it.
Well, we will talk about it really quick, and then we're gonna have Greg come in.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm
Who
excited.
better to tell us?
Right. So the governor passed House Bill 141122 today, and it's actually I have pages and pages of it, but it's actually really short because essentially what they did is they repealed a whole bunch of previous law, and it does two things. I'm going to give kind
Is
of
this the caregiver thing?
No.
Oh, okay.
Nope. This is about what happens to people that sell recreationally to someone with fake ID.
Fake ID. I saw that.
As well as some clarifications around packaging. And so I want to first talk about the packaging thing because it makes me do a little happy dance. The way that the rules were written essentially said that infused product manufacturers did not have to put their product into a child-resistant
Exit bag or?
They didn't have to do any of that if they had a little sticker on it that said this package is not child-resistant.
Oh.
And so that left it up to the center to make sure that that package was then placed in something that was indeed child resistant. So this essentially said, oh, you know what? We were just kidding when we passed that rule. Because let me back up and let's logic through something for a second. So you've got a 6-year-old. 5-year-old. Let's just use 5 because 5 is kind of cute. They could be in kindergarten, maybe not quite yet. And they see a cookie and they see a big fat bud. Mm-hmm. Which are they going to eat?
Cookie.
Cookie. Chris?
Me, bud.
6-year-old, 5-year-old. Cookie, bud. Stay with me.
2 out of 3 are going to eat the cookie is what we're saying.
Cookie or bud? Cookie. See,
All right.
we all agree the cookie. So the manufacturer of the cookie doesn't have to put something into a child-resistant package. However,
The most tempting to a child.
right,
Yes.
the manufacturer of the bud, which let's be honest, I mean, it takes a sophisticated eye to find a bud particularly appealing, right? It's like a 5-year-old doesn't care how coffee smells, certainly doesn't want to eat a piece of weed.
Sure.
So this whole rule about infused product manufacturers not having to make their product child resistant, however the centers had to, seemed like it was missing the point. That really the most important thing to have away from children is something that was going to actually appeal to them. And if you're talking about a 13, 14, 16, 18-year-old, different story. But they're trying to protect little kids.
Sure.
Because these child-resistant packages, they test them on 5-year-olds. They don't test them on 11-year-olds. I mean, you don't have to do quantum physics to open these. They're not asking you for the square root of whatever. So anyway, that was the first part of this bill is to say, yes, indeed, it is not enough for an infused product manufacturer to just put a sticker on it, that they do have to make their products in child-resistant packaging.
Carry their in just like everyone else.
Just like everyone else. So yay for that. If you have to do it, we all have to do it. And then the second part of it.
Yeah, the IDs.
This is a little bit.
This puts your ass on the line.
Well, every single person now who looks at an ID has the potential of a class 1 misdemeanor if you sell to someone under the age of 21. So it's not enough to have checked their ID, to have looked at it. You have to actually ensure that that is a valid ID and that is that person, or you will be charged criminally.
AKA, you're going to need to be able to learn to identify a fake ID.
You have to learn, or there are these really expensive ID scanners that cost in the neighborhood of $1,000+ that will scan any state ID.
What about, I've seen some places have a scanner built into their keyboard where you can just slide it in. It goes into their computer. Is that the same system for $1,000?
There are two different ones. There's ones that just barcode read.
Mm-hmm.
And for all the states that have a barcode on the back, like Colorado, they will read that. But for all the states that don't, which are like 35 other states and a myriad of countries,
Gotcha.
That won't work.
Yeah. So they have
to upgrade their
You have to be
system.
schooled worldwide on IDs and fake IDs.
Yeah. Or you could get
As of today.
As of today. So welcome to Colorado.
Yeah.
And so it just means that I mean, I'm all for people being really careful. But unfortunately, that's not the same as the liquor industry. The liquor industry has an out. I've checked their ID. I looked. I asked them the questions. I made sure that it was indeed real. To the best of my ability, is good enough for the alcohol industry, but it's not good enough for the marijuana industry.
The word "like" is a funny word,
isn't it?
It's kind of.
It's really close to dislike.
I would say it's regulated kind of like alcohol.
Kind of like.
Kind of not, but also a little, kind of.
Only when it's convenient, kind of.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, so that was kind of the big thing that happened today. We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, guess what's going to happen? You'll never guess.
Is Greg going to come in?
Yeah, you
Awesome.
guessed. You're a good guesser. We'll be right back.
The Law Office of Edson, Mayton, and Matz provides criminal defense, family law, medical marijuana defense, and advice about setting up and running a medical marijuana center, optional premises cultivation operation, and infused product manufacturing businesses throughout the state of Colorado. We're focused on providing high-quality service and customer satisfaction. We will do everything we can to meet your expectations. WarrenEdson.com. Edson, Mayton, and Matz in Denver, 303-831-8188, and in Aspen, 970-948-7183. WarrenEdson.com.
High up in the Rockies is beautiful Frisco, Colorado. Medical Marijuana of the Rockies is a medical marijuana center with compassion for Colorado's medical patients. Looking for great meds grown organically in soil? You've come to the right place. Medical Marijuana of the Rockies is just off I-70 at exit 203. Check them out at the web at www.mmrockies.com. Their ever-changing strain and clone selection is updated on the website daily. When making a trip to the mountains, no matter the season, stop by Medical Marijuana of the Rockies. Make sure you say you heard about them on iCannabis Radio. You can call 970-668-MEDS to get more information. Medical Marijuana of the Rockies, your mountain source for meds.
I'm Gary Johnson, and you're listening to iCannabis Radio, and I want to say, talk it up, Colorado.
Hi, welcome back. It is crazy at iCannabis Radio. I have an itchy nose. Sorry.
What does that mean? Isn't that like a sign of something?
It's not money because isn't that palms? Spring is coming. I bet it's spring is coming.
There we go. Allergens.
Thursday.
Allergens.
That's
Exactly.
There we go.
So I warn everybody that we just let the puppies in. And if it looks like a horror movie, it is because GNU is teething and bled all over. It looks like Warren tried to wash him off a little bit. Like to welcome Greg. It is the third Monday of March 2014, which means it's our cannabis history lesson, and you brought a friend.
I did. This is a man who deserves an introduction, even if he should not need an introduction. He does. He does. Oh, this is all falling on me. Okay, this is Mark Culverhouse.
Hi, Mark.
And Mark was involved in the cannabis legalization movement in Colorado in the very early 90s. And we met out here at that time. We started one of the first normal chapters in the state. We did that. We worked, helped on the hemp initiative drive in 1992, trying to legalize marijuana for recreation, medicine, for the environment, for hemp. And Mark called out the whole enchilada.
Wow.
That wasn't successful, but we worked on a medical marijuana initiative the next year in 93. It was one of the early notices in the newspapers about marijuana medically being needed out here. And there we are, about, 5 years after we did that, there was a state initiative, got on the ballot. Secretary of State didn't let the votes be counted, or the courts didn't. In 2000, it was legalized out here, medical marijuana. And I think that this man helped to lay some of the groundwork for that.
That's right.
Yeah, I should point out that people, of course, this is the history segment, right?
Yes.
The history is really important. I should point out that the states that have legalized marijuana, it's all been citizen ballot initiatives. No state legislature has voted. No politicians, Democrats or Republicans, have ever voted to legalize. Washington State, Colorado State, Arizona, Washington, D.C., the city of San Francisco, which Greg and I went to the NORML convention, and was that in 92 or 91?
That was 92, yeah.
92. Dennis Perrone, an activist in San
That's
Francisco for AIDS, got San Francisco to legalize for medical. But that's a point that people shouldn't forget. This battle isn't over, because not every state has a citizen initiative. I live in Wisconsin now. They don't have a citizens initiative. It's very difficult to even. There isn't really a legalization movement there because we don't have a citizens initiative. So that's very significant.
That's a damn shame because there were fine activists in Wisconsin. I'm thinking about the late
Yes.
Ben Mazzell in
died a few
Madison,
years ago.
Wisconsin.
Yep, and there was Gary. I forgot his last name. He was the normal guy for the state. I like to say about Colorado to people in Colorado to really understand something. Nikola Tesla was a famous a pioneer of electronics in 1900, the late 1800s, early 1900s. His dream was to broadcast to send. He invented the artificial lightning bolts. So he realized you could send electrical signals and power around the world. And so his dream was to get all the people to have access to electricity because he could see the future. He would know that you could send news and everything. So in 1900 or so, almost a little over 100 years ago, he came out here from New York and built a lab in Colorado Springs and built this barn in a 50-foot in diameter cable, generated millions of volts of electricity, and because he wanted to send it up to the ionosphere and have it charge the whole ionosphere and try to receive energy. And the reason I bring that up is because
He smoked marijuana.
No, he didn't. He drank a glass of whiskey every day, though, medicinal. But I just want to bring that up because it's really a good analogy. Right now, Colorado is a beacon to the world.
That's right.
Colorado is the fact that marijuana is legal here in the United States, in Colorado, is being broadcast. That reality is being broadcast around the world. And everywhere in the world, people are receiving the message. Colorado, Denver, it's legal, they're making tax money, and everyone in the world right now is saying, why don't we do that? Why aren't we doing that? So Colorado, it's not over. There's the rest of the world. You guys have a lot, but the rest of the world is still back there in the dark ages. And this really is a beacon to the entire world. And of course, I think even today's episode, we have someone from Spain, and we had someone from Italy. Didn't you you were interviewed from Italy, I think, a while ago.
Australia.
Australia.
Close.
Yeah. So I think a lot of people take it for granted. Oh yeah, it's legal. Of course, no one's going to remember. There was a struggle. We were back there in the 90s, and it wasn't. Well, we would get arrested. I got arrested. I got thrown in the Denver jail. I spent a night in Denver's city jail because I was standing at this. They had a state dare rally. The police from all the towns in Colorado, because they were fighting us. We were making progress. We were a political movement. They brought all the kids. They bused kids from around the school, from around the state, and had thousands of kids in the civic square there. And it was surrounded by just hundreds of school buses. And I was down there with my one guy. I'm on the corner handing out hemp flyers, And the cops just grabbed me and threw me in the car. And I had on my hemp shorts. It was summertime. I had my hemp shorts and flip-flops. And I had a T-shirt that was Truth or Dare, with a pot leaf. Well, when they threw me in the cell, I said, well, what are you arresting me for? Well, because it was their rally. They didn't want me there. So they put me in a cell. So here I am in my shorts. Well, first then the cop comes and looks at me in the holding cell, and he looks at my T-shirt, Truth or Dare. Well, Dare was what did Dare stand for?
Drug Awareness Resistance
Yeah,
Education.
it was started by Daryl Gates, the police chief of Los Angeles. And
what's it stand for?
I'm guessing, I think it was Drug Awareness Resistance Education.
Yes. Those are really expensive.
Yes.
So the cop looked at my T-shirt, which was one of the shirts we did, and he said, hey, we own the copyright. It's a copyright violation, like a Denver cop.
They're going to charge you.
Copyright law. And so he seized my shirt. He took my shirt off of me.
What? So
I spent the time in jail there for a day.
Naked?
Half naked. With flip-flops and hemp
shorts.
Yeah. And I was like a political prisoner. The cops are on first-name basis with the normal criminals. And they literally put my thing in the back of the hopper. I didn't get out of there. Everyone else made bail. And I had my credit card, but you know what they did? They arrested me in the county. They kept my wallet across the hall in the county, Denver County cops. And then when I was in the city to get my bail, they said, well, where's your credit card? I said, well, you got it. No, oh, no, we don't have it. The county has it. So they wouldn't let me bail myself out, Yeah, well, anyways.
So what'd you bring us?
Oh, I just brought a few things. We used to do. Here's no pot, no peace.
That's awesome.
This is a sticker. We used to do this. I shouldn't be saying this because that was nasty to put stickers up on things.
Yeah.
But we were mad at the media.
This was a long time ago before you knew any better. So.
Yeah, what happened? Wait. Oh, there we go. Little stickers. Yeah.
Well, we really believe we were the resistance in the war on drugs. So
Look at that. That's,
no,
we were
no
fighting-
peace.
that's,
You
that's
guys were
very
tense.
aggressive.
This isn't some hippie kind of slogan.
No.
here.
No, that was a little radical. Now, we had, there was a lot of people. Here, of course, we had the DARE program.
Okay.
And we did this bumper sticker. Looks like the DARE sticker. But, of course, ours says DARE to turn your parents in.
That's great.
Because there
And-
were cases like that going on in the newspapers of somebody coming home. Oh, and they have the DARE class and the officers in the classroom, and a child says, "Oh, my daddy smokes that stuff," and led to arrests.
And we
throughout
should
the
mention
remember
that
stories.
when we started this, of course, it was a reaction to the stories, which we published. And Gary Peterson, because there was these activists, and it was, people just were standing up against injustice.
Sure.
These patriots, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah.
These people were taking themselves personal risk
This
doing
is
all
there's
this.
a lot. It'd be a
Gary
lot braver
Peterson.
back in the day to do this for sure.
Gary Peterson from Fort
Collins.
Was it Fort Collins?
Yeah.
He was a parent, and they were doing this in his school. And he became a national spokesman for the Parents Against DARE.
Yeah, that
Parents
was the
Against
name of
DARE
his group.
Became his little group. And so a lot of people were really set the stage, really, for softening up. Although Colorado was a lot of libertarians, it's a very special state. A lot of people are not afraid of liberty and freedom. A lot of places, somehow you talk about having personal liberty, and people are like, well, what are you? What's that about?
I'd rather have safety.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Well,
we
and DARE
did-
turned out to be a humongous failure.
The DARE program?
The DARE program became a humongous
They just
failure.
dropped marijuana from the curriculum last year.
Well, it became a tobacco only program where everyone could agree upon is that cigarettes are bad. Okay, so let's at least have DARE to keep your kids off of cigarettes. Okay, we can all get behind
Sure,
that. Thanks.
finally.
there were federal regulations. We educated a lot of people on this stuff. There were federal regulations that in school you could not ask children about their parents' income, about the parents' illegal activities, about sex. You couldn't start interviewing kids, asking them if they're having sex or doing it to parents or anything. They were taboo, and that was federal regulations. Yet they were being violated all the
over the
time,
place.
especially the DARE program, because that's what they would do. They were
Because
looking for,
it's
turn your
stupid.
parents in, and that's what kids were doing. What are kids supposed to think when they talk about it?
Sure.
Well, to us, it was very Orwellian.
It is,
just like George Orwell's
that's right.
1984, that you would have police in the classroom instructing children about something that their parents might be doing against the law, that they're going to turn them in over.
Well, and how confusing for children. I mean, what a terrible thing to give them that mixed message, to very intentionally give a counter message to what's happening in someone's home. I mean, I just think that that's a horrible way to treat children, under the
police,
auspice of education.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
It's not up to kids to fix their parents.
So so in 1992,
Right?
we had there was a group of people. Can we mention their names? There was myself, Skip Vina, John Baraga, Paul Danish, Tom Barris.
Right.
So a group of people, because Colorado has a state initiative. Back then it was if you get 47,000 valid signatures, you can get an initiative and let people vote. We submitted 47,000. It was very costly. We didn't get any money. We did this all with a couple bucks selling T-shirts and bumper stickers.
Yeah, where the hell was George Soros?
Where was
Right,
George Soros,
right.
But we turned in 49,000, but they went through them with a fine-tooth comb and
course
threw
they
them out.
did.
So we didn't make the ballot. But that was the first legal attempt to legalize hemp or cannabis in Colorado.
92, you said?
In 92.
That's right.
And immediately after that, well, let me just mention, too, that people didn't realize this, but Greg did a lot of research on the legal history of prohibition in Colorado. And one of the things he discovered was we had a law on the books back in 92. Here we wanted to do medical marijuana.
Earlier than 92,
It's-
like
no,
early
but
80s.
When I discovered it through
right,
you.
Sure.
We wanted to do medical marijuana. It turned out medical marijuana was legal already. What year did they pass that law?
I couldn't give you the exact year, but it was sometime in the
70s?
late 70s, early 80s.
70s, 80s. There was a state law on the books, and it even had that the University of Colorado Health Sciences Center was supposed to be the dispensary. They were
Right.
supposed to provide this to the patients. Well, you
What
know
the hell
what?
happened?
Right?
Yeah, what happened? That's
Well,
what we said.
They were supposed to, I guess they decided, I think they actually did give marijuana to some people, but you
Well-
had to be connected or just be part of some research studies. And
I know
again,
a lot of
the
people who would have
marijuana,
volunteered.
they were supposed to be able to get the marijuana from local law enforcement, but that was against the law federally. So, okay, give us weed, federal government. Well, the federal government was not going to do that. But actually, they did. They gave, I think, some marijuana out here for research studies to fast-track Marinol, so that there was some research studies done by our Health Sciences Center in order to clear the way and to show that there were peer-reviewed studies regarding Marinol and that it could be approved. So people wouldn't be asking for marijuana anymore from the federal government. We could just say, here's a pill now, you take the pill, shut up about this marijuana. And this was right during the AIDS crisis as well. We must say that there were a lot of activists who were, late activists, let's just put it that way, who it meant very much to be able to have legal access to marijuana. And the federal government was not providing that.
The bottom line is the doctors didn't want to have anything to do with it, and so they just snuffed it up.
Who passed that through? The one you discovered in the late 70s. Who passed that bill through?
It was just one state legislator.
A state legislator.
This is a good idea. Let's do it, and no one objected, and it passed.
Well, he had a great story. I'm trying to remember his name right now. It'll come to me by the end of the show.
Sure.
But he was out campaigning, and he ran into this woman, and he said, will you vote for me? And she said, I'll tell you what, I'll vote for you if you introduce a bill to legalize marijuana for medicine. So he was kind of taken aback, but he decided to do it and got the support of the legislature.
In the late 70s.
Yeah,
that's
early 80s.
That's ahead of its time.
Way ahead of its time.
And it just happened.
Actually, we're behind the times.
Actually,
sure. Absolutely.
So we're going to take a quick break. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, let's talk a little bit more about that. And then I have some questions about what they say in Wisconsin about us crazy ones in Colorado.
Okay.
I want to thank one of our sponsors, Cuffle Collimore and Company. They have all of your insurance needs met, especially if you run a marijuana business. Do you know that no pot, no peace? Do you know that if someone gets sick off of something that you sell them, that even if you didn't produce that they can sue you? So you need liability insurance that covers more than just slip and falls. And so call 877-335-1234, Cuffle Collimore and Company, and they can give you a quote on all of your insurance needs. Again, that's 877-335-1234. You can find them on the web at cufflecollimore.com, and we will be right back.
Are you a runner? Are you a runner who supports marijuana legalization? Run on Grass is a group of athletes actively seeking to change our marijuana laws. We speak the truth about cannabis, bringing the message through our feet to new ears. Check out runongrass.com to find out more about us, our events, and how to join up or how to sponsor a runner. If you're in the Denver area, please join us for runs or start a group in your area. Running not your thing? Any sport can do it. On Grass. Runongrass.com.
National Cannabis Industry Association would like to thank its members who represent the leading professional businesses in America's emerging legal cannabis market. NCIA is the only organization that has unified legitimate cannabis business across the nation to fight for real reform in Washington, D.C. For more information or to make your business a member, visit us online at thecannabisindustry.org.
Welcome back. So we have been talking to Mark and to Greg about the hemp initiative in the early 90s. So why, Mark? Why was this a passion for you? Why did you want to see this happen?
Well, because my brother is a year older than me, and of course there's always sibling rivalry. Well, the year before that, my brother ran for governor. He was a hemp activist. We're both Vietnam vets. That actually has something to do with it. But he was a hemp activist living in Colorado, and he joined the Grassroots Party, which was for legalizing, and he was actually the candidate for governor.
Wow.
And when he told me about that, of course, then I was like, oh, well, of course, I was against injustice. I was against the Vietnam War. I was against government violence.
Sure.
So I was just against that. And to me, the drug war, the Vietnam War, it's all the same war to me. It's violence against people by the government. So that was my motivation.
Yeah.
But when my brother was doing the hemp thing, legalization, then I thought, well, I guess I better get in there too because I can do a better job than my brother. And I was living here in Colorado, and the first thing I did when okay, what do I do? I had been a political strategist, activist in California for NARAL, for abortion rights, so women's rights and stuff, because I like the strategy and stuff. So the first thing I did was call National Normal. I had heard of Normal. And so I called National Normal and I said, well, is there a Normal chapter? Is there no? But they said, well, here's a guy, Greg Daurer. So he had, been a member of something. So then I called Greg, and then we formed Colorado Normal. And
thank you for that.
And then we met all these other. Then I started meeting. Greg would introduce me to everyone, all these people in the movement, and eventually it came together. Let's do a hemp initiative. And I had a Macintosh, and so I had the desktop publishing stuff. I'm a computer guy. So we met it at my place, and I drafted everything, on the computer. I did all the printing, and I did Adobe Illustrator, all of the artwork for our stuff, Colorado Normal. Lots of posters. We organized bands to do hemp rallies and play bands. We did lots of rallies on the state capitol.
We would attend all the different events like the People's Fair and hand out information, Gay Pride, Taste of Colorado.
Gay Pride, Cherry Creek, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Once the governor was going to be down in Colorado Springs talking to the Police Chiefs Association, and we went down there, a caravan, and we heard that. And it's like, okay, the word went out. It was like Paul Revere and the British are coming.
Right.
So we went down there. We had all our posters and hanging out there and all getting in the face of those, Police Chiefs Association and stuff.
Awesome.
So a lot of really. I wanted to mention Doreen Bishop because
me too.
That Colorado law that actually said it was legal. Well, when we found that out, Doreen Bishop was out there on her own. She was a cancer patient, and she was out there on her own saying, hey, I want my marijuana. I'm a patient. I'm not a criminal. Yeah. And so she filed on her own, she filed papers against the state challenging, why aren't you implementing this law? And, of course, eventually she got worn out because it was just too much work, and they weren't going to do much to her. So she had to bail on that. But it was a great fight. And there was lots of people that were challenging the school district for doing things, for challenging DARE, challenging the State Health Sciences Center, challenging the police, challenging everything. The DEA, we did interviews, on cable and stuff, and the DEA agent, Aurora, there was the police department in Aurora, so radio stuff. So, we did the best we could. We kind of failed, but the thing is that right now, when you're celebrating this victory, almost the ultimate victory, there's still more to do. But I look back on it and say, boy, we didn't fail. We kind of laid the groundwork. We kind of, softened them up a little bit, some body blows, and we got knocked out. But the guys that came behind us succeeded in.
So coming back from Wisconsin and coming in here and seeing what you started come to fruition. What was it like? What's it like to go into a store?
Oh, well, and I did that today for the first time. Once I was in Amsterdam, and I bought some hash or something legally at the Grasshopper Club, I think it was. And so today I actually bought a little bit just to say that I actually exercised my right.
Yes.
To cannabis. It was wonderful. We went to two different places. They have the recreational and the medical, and some are both, and some are just one. And I went to two different, very professional. They look like European pharmacies, kind of. But it's like a doctor's office. I even smelled alcohol. The place was so clean.
Yeah.
And they sign you up. Everyone's following wonderful rules and all the protocols. And it's very nice. The ones I saw were very nice, and of course it's encouraging. There's so many. I look at the map of all the different dispensaries, and it's quite. It's very nice.
Well, Mark, we need to thank you. We need to thank you because what you started, what you started has led to this.
I'm really proud. And like I said, there's probably more. I still want to know whether the agricultural is viable. Can we grow thousands of acres and make, because like Jack Hare, he showed the way. We are still making paints and chemicals out of petroleum.
Right.
It's not renewable. Hemp seed, people don't realize paint, it used to be paint was made out of hemp seed oil. and linseed oil and stuff. It was like you could drink that stuff. It wasn't toxic. But then we got into the chemicals and the petrochemicals. And I see now we have so many health problems. Kids are born with mental defects, with birth defects. And it's really, cities are, I hate to say this because I don't live in the city, but you guys do. They really are cesspools of heavy metals and all these chemicals, trace amounts that I think are probably responsible for a lot of problems that we have.
Sure.
If we have to make the transition to safe, non-toxic, renewable alternatives to these poisons. Like petrochemical oil's fine, but it's not renewable. We really have to save that for stuff that we can only do with petroleum. But we have to get to our cars and all this stuff. And so, and then there is our economy, this jobless recovery. Are we going to recover? Are we just going to wait around for something new? Where are all these millions of jobs going to come from? It's got to be something new, something we haven't tried before. It could be hemp. Let's do it. Let's try it. So I'm hoping that would be the next thing, because right now, recreational users, medical users, that's important. We don't have that injustice, all these arrests, and patients can get theirs. But there's the rest of the world and the rest of the U.S. economy. Yeah. Hemp is still potentially a savior for these renewable resources that we can grow right here. And, I just drove here from Wisconsin, and I see all these cornfields and stuff in the ethanol, and I'm just thinking like, man, what if we had these 12-foot tall fields of solid hemp? That's a lot of biomass. That's a lot of material that we could be doing with. That could be the future. I believe in, Nikola Tesla was a visionary because he saw the future. When he could make a lightning bolt, he saw the next 100 years of everything. Jack Hare was that kind of guy when it came to hemp. When he researched all that history and he realized, oh my God, this used to be the most important plant on earth to humankind, and it can be again. And he saw the future, the medicine, the food, fuel, everything. And it really is. And so, hopefully there's a little lull here, but hopefully we get back to that, and hopefully Colorado grows 1,000 acres and proves that this is really a new industry that can revitalize the entire American economy, a global economy too. And yes.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Thank you. As always, Greg, it was wonderful. Mark, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Georgia.
Bike.
Georgia.
You're fun.
Thanks.
This was a great show. What don't you think, Chris? Your favorite show ever? Maybe? Yeah, he always likes it when Greg's here. Well, I want to thank our sponsors tonight, Edson Maton and Matt, Mile High Wellness, Nodo Urban Garden Supply, Medical Marijuana of the Rockies, Run on Grass, and of course, my dad, Cuffle Collmore and Company. I want to thank you guys all for being here. Mike, you got to come back and do it again with me.
Cool.
All right. Yay. Rest of the week on iCannabis Radio, Adam Dunn Show from 11:30. I still have 11. It's really 11:30 to 1:30. Are you going to be on this week? You are like
I need to
poor
kill a
hopping
little bit of
on
time
our
right
shows.
now, so this is great.
You have some downtime, so you can just be on everyone's show.
I'm
all right.
happy that Bike is back.
Me too.
Thanks, guys. That makes me
Super
feel
happy.
great.
You got a radio voice.
I do.
I like that.
And he's good at it. Hemp Connoisseur Magazine show is on from 4 to 5 p.m. on Thursdays. And don't miss us again on Monday next week, 7 p.m. Mountain Time. Be there. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Good night.
No problem.